Hey guys, what's going on? Ref here. We're going to do a quick video review on the Harley Benton TE-30. Alrighty, so what this is, it's one of the cheapest T-style guitars you can get from Toma, and this costs less than half of what a CST costs, so very, very affordable, and some really neat features at the price point. You get an ash body with a nice butterscotch style blonde finish thing. It's kind of a mixture between butterscotch blonde and I guess transparent white. I really like how it looks. I think it looks great. And you got a maple neck with a maple fretboard, 22 frets, medium-sized frets. You got a C. This is a C shape. Yeah, definitely a C shape kind of neck. And you have a bone-ish material nut. It's definitely not plastic. I want to say it's bone nut, but it could be something else. Chrome die-cast tuners, as cheap as it gets at this price point. You got 2 chrome string trees, also as cheap as it gets at that price point. And then for pickups, you have a T-style single coil in the bridge and a T-style lipstick in the neck. Very low output, ceramic pickups. I'm not sure how low the DC resistance is, but I wager it's somewhere between 5 and 6. So very vintage voiced. And 1 volume, 1 tone. You get a 3-way pickup selector switch, pearloid or white pearl pickguard on it, and I think I've covered everything aside from black dot and lace, and on this side as well. So I'll do some clean tones first, and then I'll do some distorted tones, and I'll give you my final thoughts on this instrument. So let's start with a clean tone. I'll just play a clean loop and play something over it. So I'm going to get the camera closer to me so you can get a better look at the guitar, and I'll do some distorted tones. Let's see. Alright, there we go, that works. Let me kick in the drive, and I guess I'll do the same thing. now that you heard it on both clean and distorted tones, and I had a little mishap with my looper there, but it worked out in the end. I'll give you my thoughts on it. So like I said, this is less than half the price of a CST, and to be honest, it impresses me even more. Now you may have noticed that some of the sounds were very thin. That is a combination of the very low output pickups and the extremely thin strings that I'm currently using right now, since I have no other sets of strings to put on him when I had to change them. I think I slapped on some 8s or 9s. Regardless, they feel very thin to me. I am used to playing with 10s and 11s for standard tuning. But that aside, it came decently playable. Setup wasn't great by any means, but it was playable. Very rock solid, very heavy. This is about 10 to 11 pounds, so very heavy for a T-style. And some of the things I like about it, despite its super low price point and despite that the tuners are really cheap, it still holds tune very well. That's in part due to the very straight string pull you get on T-style guitars. It plays nicely, the neck shape is really comfortable, the fretwork is pretty good for something at this price point. I've got no sharp frets here. I think even the acoustics for something about this price point is really good. I really dig this guitar, and I'll tell you something about it. I think that even though this is way cheaper, to me this feels more sturdy or more solid than even the CST. The reason why I say that is because number one, it just feels that way, and number two, when I got my first two Harley Bentons, which were this one and a red CST, they both arrived in the same box. They were both kicked around, and this showed here without a scratch, and the CST had a broken headstock and some cracked binding. So it really goes to show that even though they make this for such a low price, it's actually really sturdy and really heavy. And I'm really pleased with it. I would recommend this for people who either have a lot of guitars and don't justify spending a lot of money for decent T-style guitars, so they can just mod this one or have this one and kick around as it is, or just to somebody who really just wants something different that they can take to, let's say, a gig and not cry about it if it gets, if it falls down or gets broken. I think it's a really cool mod platform. I mean, for the price of a decent humbucker, you get this guitar. You could put something like some GFS here, like the little killers are like 25 bucks a pop. Maybe a Graphtec Nuts or some Hipshot tuners on it. And I fitted mine with the brass saddles from Fender. But you could also get like a Wilkinson bridge that already has brass saddles, and it'll cost you like 20 bucks. So that's like $130 in upgrades. And for a decent set of, or for what a decent set of pickups will set you back, you would have a really cool modded guitar. Other things to note, this guitar was inspected by number 1658, I think it says, yeah. Same number, yeah, 1658. I remember it was the same number that I got on my last CST, which arrived just fine, so I think he does a good job, or I could just be getting lucky with his inspections. This guitar also came with a really cheap cable that surprisingly enough works, and in the bag there's two Allen keys, one for truss rod adjustment and one for adjusting the saddles. And I really say that's about it. The only negatives I can think about it, obviously some of the components like the tuners are extremely cheap, and the pickups are super low output, so if you're a high gain player, you might not enjoy this. That being said, if you are a shredder, for example, and don't appreciate like some of the more curved radius you'd get on traditional Telecasters from Fender, you might enjoy this because it has a really flat radius, and it's so cheap that you can just do whatever mods you please with it, and you'll probably be happy about it. So that's it. Thank you for your time, for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, leave me a like or comment how I can make these better, and I'll see you on the